Hello and a warm welcome to my channel, New Zone Fitness, the holistic approach. Hello everyone, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today I really want to talk about the heart. So we have the physical heart, we have the psychological heart, and we have the mystical heart. So it's just understand each one. The physical heart is the heart we take to training. The heart, that's a muscle that we want to pump. We really want to get it pumping, so the more it pumps stronger, the more it's going to work more efficiently and keep a sense of well-being amongst our organs and the networks within our body. An energy system that training will evoke. Training will evoke a sense of well-being in itself because of all the chemical release after training. Then we have the psychological heart. So in recent studies, it has been shown that as the mind has neural networks, so does the heart. And in fact, they are now showing us that the heart and the mind are always in conversation. They're always having a back and forth dialogue with each other. So we have a psychological heart which feels and will go back and talk to the mind about it, and the mind will come back to the heart. So they carry the same network. So really the heart does feel pain, the heart feels suffering, the heart feels joy, the heart feels abundance, heart feels destruction. All these things happen within our heart, the feelings that they evoke. So that is the psychological heart, and how we actually tend to that, and how we tend to our mind in terms of trying to cultivate it into a positive mindset. We want to also nurture the heart, the psychological heart, into a positive energy system by feeling things that makes us feel good, by doing things that will serve us, because that makes the heart happy, the psychological heart happy as well. But then we have the mystical heart. The mystical heart is about intuition, listening to that gut instinct, listening to that little whisper in the background. And that's the one I really want to focus on today, because that mystical heart is asking something of you which is not seen in the everyday sense, because the mystical energy, you can't see it, you can't touch it in a sense, as in when you work out, you can see that you've worked out, you're sweating, your heart's more elevated, you're tired. But with the spiritual heart, it's kind of flows through the psychological and the physical and kind of binds them all together, really. So when we look at our mystical heart, it asks something very natural of us, for us to come back to a state of being present, where we're not comparing, we're not flicking through TikTok or watching other people. We're becoming more self-aware of what life is really asking of us, what our heart is asking of you to discover. Because when we don't listen to our inner heart, we are looking elsewhere for the answers. We are looking elsewhere for that peace that we feel that's going to complete us. If I have that, if I attain that. But it's not elsewhere, it's here. And it's the most simplest solution and answer to all one's problems, is to connect back to your own authentic self, which means being your own sense of power, mentally, physically, spiritually. Because when you allow yourself to become and be who you are authentically, and what that means is being real to yourself, being true to yourself, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting anyone else. Why not? What is that voice asking of you? If it's saying to you, go to the gym, it's asking more of you, opposed to sitting there watching Netflix, perhaps. You may not like it, you may not want to do it, you may not want to honor it, but that voice will never go away. It's always with you in the background until the day you leave this planet and death is upon you. At that point, it won't be a voice of come, get up. It'll be a voice of regret. It'll be a voice of why didn't you listen to me? And why didn't you listen to it? Because, firstly, we haven't been given the tools. In the West, we've been taught how to honor the logical mind, but we're not taught how to really honor our intuition, although we use it more often than we give credit to. When we meet someone for the first time, we have a gut feeling about them. When we take a job interview, we have a feeling about it. When we go to the gym and we're training, and we've honored that thought of go to the gym and you've done it, does it make you feel like great, opposed to not doing it? So there in itself is its evidence. If you honor the whispers of your heart, they're always there to lift you and remind you you are more than you think you are. You are much, much more. And if you allow yourself to surrender to that little voice that has such power, that can change your life tremendously. But first you have to learn to listen. And how we listen is by becoming more quieter, just shaking off all the other thoughts that are unnecessary, not looking at somebody else and thinking, wow, they're amazing, or comparing yourself, competing with them. It's not looking at that, it's looking at you, listening to you, and you allowing yourself to be who you want to be without all the criticisms and all the put downs that you may carry over years and years and years. Just showing up as you are and saying, you know what, I'm alright, I'm comfortable with who I am. How many people do you know who can actually live? Sounds very simple, but to show up as you are, because this world won't allow us to do that as well, because we want to be put into boxes and labels. So really listening to your heart is paramount in order for you to live a life of being in harmony with yourself. Because if we don't, we end up becoming frustrated. We don't go to the gym and we don't train. It's not just going to the gym. It could be any sense of training, moving your body. I use that as an example. But if you don't honor that, then as the days go, the weeks go, it becomes a habit. And that's how you learn to treat yourself. You learn that when you say something, you don't really mean it. You're just saying it. And in that, you create a sense of distrust. You don't trust yourself. And then when you don't trust someone, imagine you hanging out with someone you don't trust. So really, it's essential for you to really understand that little voice and not avoid it. It may seem uncomfortable because we're not used to really sitting with ourselves unless we have to, and COVID had really shown us that. But we don't want to be in a situation where we're forced to do it. We want to do it because we see a value in it. We see a value going inwardly opposed to always seeking out outwardly. So it's creating that little space and acknowledging at first you might feel uncomfortable in the same way as you're lifting up a weight for the first time. That's going to feel foreign and uncomfortable. But the more and more you do it, like anything you practice, you'll get better at it. So the trick is to stay with it. Don't listen to your feelings. Don't listen to what anyone else is saying to you. Just come back to your heart and listen. Learn to really listen. Imagine it's like a master sat there, a wise master who's giving you these pearls of wisdom. That's what it's designed for. The spiritual element in your heart is designed to lift your spirits. Hence the quote, lift your spirits and allow yourself to be lifted by creating. Doesn't have to be for long, it can be for about 30 seconds, 5 seconds, however long. But just start by just sitting there as you are and just saying, placing your hand over your heart and closing your eyes and just allowing what comes up naturally without allowing it to be cross-sectioned with judgment and criticism. Just allow that whisper, allow it a platform to be heard, because the more you listen to it, the more louder it will become, and the voices and the noises around you will still be there, but they will be pushed away, as they should, because it's your voice that matters in the end. It's what you think of you that matters in the end. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. It's what you want to do and how you honor that whisper in your heart. And it's showing up in the same way you show up to work, in the same way you show up to training, you show up every day to your commitments in the day. You make this a commitment with yourself. You make this a pact, because you see how fundamental it is for you to be in line with yourself, with your heart, your physical heart, your psychological heart, and your mystical heart, because that's the different energy systems within your heart that need to be blended together. So just to summarize, when you hear a little whisper in your heart that tells you to get up and move and do something good for yourself, listen to it. Really listen to it. Recognize its voice as if you would with somebody outside yourself. Treat it with respect. Honor it, because it's there. It's your greatest asset, is your inner heart. It is purely designed to promote you, to elevate you, for no other reason, not to show anyone else, but for your eyes only. For your eyes only, for you to serve yourself, to say, I did follow through. I knew how to listen to my inner voice. It starts with your awareness. Self-awareness is key. So I hope this video has brought some clarity into why I feel like the heart is the essence of this holistic approach. The heart represents love as well. Let's not forget that. And what not greater love than for oneself. But like I've said, don't mistake that for narcissistic love. That self-love is about listening. It's about feeling. It's about knowing thyself. And knowing what to listen to and what not to listen to. And your heart will guide you. Your heart will guide you to the right place. So leave a message, leave a comment please, and subscribe if this has resonated with you. And until our next video, have a lovely day, and listen, create that little space in the day to listen to your heart, because the more you listen to it, the more you'll stay connected with something very beautiful and mysterious, unknown, but very beautiful. Have a lovely day.